Hi, this is Lucia with The Art of Love, and this week I would like to talk about one way to really find out what someone is like. And I haven't heard a lot of people discuss this, but I think it's important because it really shows insight into who someone is. And that is to find out what they are like behind the wheel of a car. It's kind of hard to hide your true personality when you get behind the wheel of a car. And so it doesn't really matter if someone looks good on paper or how much you have in common or how great their dating profile is if they are a bad driver. And there's many ways to be a bad driver, but of course the two main ways are either someone who is too aggressive or too slow. Because if you end up being in a long-term relationship with this person, you're the one that's going to have to live with their driving. Unless they let you drive all the time, which most guys, they prefer to drive. So if you're a woman, the guy's probably going to want to drive. And so what are you going to do? Or unless you just plan to use rideshare like Lyft and Uber all the time, then you can solve the problem by doing that. But what if you want to drive or your partner wants to drive? So the aggressive driving, I know someone who was dating a guy and he got a ticket for excessive use of horn. Now you've probably never even heard that term, and I hadn't heard, and she had a relative who was an attorney and she asked him if he could fix the ticket. And when he found out that the ticket was for excessive use of horn, he said, no, absolutely not. If he got a ticket for that, that means that he was way out of control, and I am not going to fix that ticket for him. So he was probably just honking away, and he ended up getting a ticket. Anyways, so this person who did this, a few years later, he ended up beating her up. So there's one clue into his personality, and there were other things too, but here was one definite clue. So someone who's heavy-handed on the honking of the horn, or who doesn't want anyone to pass him or her, who, just drives without really caring about anybody else on the road. It's like, I own the road and my time is important. Everybody back off. So you want to see if that's how they behave, or if they're the opposite, if they're too slow, too cautious, and you feel like you're going at a snail's pace, and you're like, oh, can you please just step on it? Please, why are you going 5 miles under the speed limit? And why are you not passing any cars? Why are we in the lane that's the slowest? Why does it take us twice as long to get everywhere? That can be really annoying too. Someone that drives too slow and too cautious. So you need to find out what someone is really like, and if their driving personality is going to fit in with who you are. And if they're too aggressive, then you have to also look for signs in your dating that they are going to be a problem. As for this girl that I mentioned, that the guy got a ticket for excessive use of horn, and there were other signs too. So you just want to look for someone that lets people in as often as possible, is polite on the road, and is just generally calm, cool, and collected, and it doesn't make you have to hold on for dear life because you think, oh my God, because they're driving too fast. And it also doesn't make you fall asleep going, oh my God, can you please just step on it? So it's not something you often think about how someone drives, because most people, for the most part, they drive okay. It's not really something you notice. But if you do get into a car, and I would suggest you do it sooner rather than later, and I'm not saying on the first date, but soon, within definitely the first month. It's like people, they say, oh, I dated someone, I've been dating someone for a few months, and I say, well, have you been to their home yet? And they go, no. Well, that's one of the things you have to do. You have to see their home as soon as possible, and you have to get into a car with them as soon as possible to see what they're really like, because everything else might look good, and then you get into a car with them and you see all the red flags and you go, oh, darn, I wish I'd gotten into a car with him sooner. Him or her. Okay, so if you have any questions or comments about this, you can contact me at my website, theartoflove.net, where I also do private coaching. You can contact me there about that. If you're listening to this on iTunes, I would appreciate if you would rate and review the podcast. And in the meantime, remember that love inspires, empowers, uplifts, and enlightens.